It's Larry back again here, World's Panasonic. I want to show you my three-head Technics RS-B905 that I bought brand new in, I think it was around 87. I won't go into all the details, but I had a local dealer at the time, and he was not very good about wanting to get Technics products, even though he was a dealer. Didn't want to order it, so I got it from J&R Music World. I believe it was around $450 some, $460 some. I can't remember exactly, but it was less than $500. And this deck has been used a lot, but as you can see, even the top of it, I mean, look at that. I mean, there's no scratches, there's no nothing. It's mint, mint condition. And this deck was used a lot. Made a lot of tapes. But even though it did have a bias control, I never used it. I kept it always in the center and made fantastic tapes, especially with the DBX, which we've talked about before. DBX noise reduction, which I used. And it is Class AA techniques. So, yeah. But ran into a problem. I don't know how many years I'd had it, but I sent it off. They tried to say the head was wore out, but I was having problems really with DBX. The left channel was on record was messed up. I can't remember exactly what it was doing, but I think it had like a lower output. Now I can play a DBX tape on here and it works fine. But if I try to record DBX on it, it doesn't work so well. Now, Dolby B and Dolby C still work okay on it, still records. But what I used this deck for was to make, cassettes back then for my car, which I had a Panasonic that had DBX noise reduction. And a quick little side note on that, we had our first car stereo competition up here, and I joined it, and had my Trans Am, might even have my Firebird Formula at the time. But, of course, I went and joined, and I specifically remember one of the judges come over, and he told me, he said, he said, there's a lot of stereos here louder than yours, but he said, you got the best sound in stereo. And I gave that credit to having a DBX on my deck in my car, which made it sound just CD quality. And like I said, I prefer the lights on this deck. I wish I had it plugged up where I could show you. I actually like the display better on this one than I do the 965. It just, to me, looks nicer. And it's a little smaller. It's not as tall, but it's a good-looking deck. Of course, three-head, get a little blurry there. Closed loop, dual capstan. And like I said, when CDs came out, what I would do, what I used it for primarily, like my records. I'd buy either 45s, 33s, whatever, and record them on here and then play them in my car. And that's where it got all the usage out of. Never used a cheap tape in this deck. I always max L's, TDKs, never used any kind of, never had a tape break, never had a tape get messed up. People talk about cassettes breaking and doing this and that. You have to have a good deck. You have to have a good tape. And cassettes are pretty reliable if you do that. But to go along with this unit, here's what I ended up getting. And show you this. This, of course, is the digital sound processor. And I bought this from Lee Hartman and Sons. And of course, once again, you look at it. Now you can see how nice condition the SH-GE90 screen. No scratches. I don't use this much anymore because I'll tell you what I used it primarily for. See, this unit has a sound effects on it, and it has a car stereo setting, which if you hook to my tape deck, which is what I use it with that 905, I could record supposedly with its setting for the best playback in an automobile. And after, CDs came out, I really stopped using it. And so it's been sitting there. Every once in a while, I will hook it up, just use it, just to keep it, going, because it's not good. Like I said, I don't like just letting stuff sit. But something I don't like about this unit, unlike most equalizers where you can adjust each frequency, individually, this unit has a low, a mid, and a high. And each one of those has like 3 bands. So when you adjust the low band, you're actually adjusting 3 bands at one time. And it's hard to fine tune it. So that's the only thing I don't like about it. And, but other than that, like I said, it's a good unit. I see a lot of them on eBay for sale. It seems like pretty popular. But I guess I will keep it. I mean, even though I don't really use it. It's sitting in my shelf, kind of fills in a spot in there. So, but yeah, both of these units, they work good together. So there you go. I mean, this is probably the last 2 that I have. Now, I do have a couple. Like I said, I have a couple DVD recorders, Panasonics. I really don't know if I don't think I'll do a video on those. Those are kind of common. One of them's an older model, and then one's a little newer. One's black, one's silver, and one's full size, and the other's one of the little skinny ones they came out with. But I guess, and I'm going to make another video, maybe here in a minute, about some other topic. But for this topic, I guess that's about it. Hey, if you like my videos and like seeing my equipment, and, give a thumbs up, subscribe, maybe recommend me to somebody else that likes stereo equipment and video equipment. And until I get my other video up, remember, rediscover music with Technics.